Hey folks, it's your favorite realtor driving home on this 100 plus degree Friday afternoon. I got a call from one of my buddies about an hour ago, and she says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And it made me think that a lot of my family and friends think that as a realtor, all I do is sit in my office, play video games, and pray for the phone to ring. That is so not the case. So let me take you on a little walking tour on the day in the life of your favorite realtor. So at 5:15, 5:20 this morning, my elderly cat, who hasn't eaten now in 4 hours, decides that she's starving and she's pretty much going to die if she doesn't get food in the next 10 minutes. So I get up, I feed her, go back to bed because I went to bed at 1 because I was working on contracts and I was exhausted. So I slept about another hour. I'm up at 6:30. I'm checking my email, take the dog for a walk. I make a berry smoothie, make a small attempt at doing stretching exercises, and then I shower and I'm out the door for my first appointment, which happened to be in Tracy. So this gentleman in Tracy is the victim of a predatory lender, and we haven't heard that for a while, and it really upsets me. There are a lot of crooked people in our industry, but conversely, there's also a lot of good people in our industry. So I help homeowners who are in situations like this. There is absolutely no charge for my service. I help them try to get out from under bad loans and bad situations and set them on the right track. So this particular gentleman is Muslim. And in the Muslim faith, they are not allowed to pay interest. So there is a company here in Northern California that will, quote unquote, finance the home. But instead of the buyer paying the mortgage, what they're doing is paying rent. But it's pretty much the same thing. So what happens during the course of this loan, as the property appreciates, the lender, the housing co-op, unlicensed by the way, takes a 30% split of the equity in that home. So in addition to that equity split, which is totally unfair because the buyer is paying the entire mortgage, property taxes, they're responsible for maintenance, upkeep, and everything. In exchange, they get 30% of the equity, and that is not fair. Now, when he took out this loan back in 2015, whoa, hello, that's my phone falling down. The interest rate was about 4%. He's got like a 790 credit score. He's like so good to go, right? He could have easily gotten into a 30-year fixed for 4%, maybe less. He is paying well over 7.25 for this home, and it's just not right. So what I'm doing, I'm helping him. I spent a couple hours with him this morning. I went over his options, and then he says to me, "Well, this is disgusting. I just want to sell my home." Well, hey, that's good for me, right? Because I make a commission. But it's not good for the buyer. Not good, or in this case, now he's the seller, right? And I wanted to explain this to him. So my first question was, do you like your home? And he says, yes, my family and I love this home. Do you need a bigger home? No, we don't. This home is perfect. So I said, well, why do you want to sell? And he says, well, I don't know how else to get out from under this loan in this situation. So I am not a lender, by the way, but I explained that there were other financing options, and I showed him that if I were to sell his home, in addition to the money he was losing from this unfair equity split, he would be paying me 6.25% commission to sell his home, and he really didn't need to do that. So while he was talking to me about selling his home, I was trying to convince him to keep his home. Why? Because that's the right thing to do. So that was part of my morning. After that, I swung by my office in Pleasanton, called a couple of my sellers with homes on the market, arranged open houses for them, set up some tours for them with buyers this weekend, and then shot up to my office in Danville to prepare collateral for the open house that I'm doing in San Ramon this weekend. By the way, if you're looking for a home, I've got a great home in San Ramon. It's on the lake, only $929,000. It is a beautiful view and a beautiful home. Come see me 1 to 4 p.m. Just scroll down. You'll probably see the video here on my Facebook page. What else can I tell you? So now I'm on my way home. It's almost 4 o'clock. Did I mention it's over 100 degrees? Oh my God, it is so hot. As my daddy used to say, it is hotter than a goat's butt in a pepper patch. So I'm on my way home now. I'll be home like around 5:30 or 6. I'll have just enough time to get a quick shower and then head back out the door because I play in a band. I play guitar, violin, and fiddle. None of them are guitar, mandolin, and fiddle. A violin and fiddle are pretty much the same thing. So then I'm going to go out and play with the band. I'm going to come home. I'm showing property all day tomorrow. I'm showing property Sunday morning. And Sunday afternoon, I have my open house. What does this mean? Why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you this because I don't think a lot of realtors work as hard as I do. And I also don't think the general public knows what we do to earn our money. I work easily 60 to 70 hours a week. And I'm not complaining because I love what I do for a living. It is the best job that I've ever had in my entire life. But there's a lot that goes in to marketing your home. And when I represent mostly sellers and I only represent buyers, I'm pretty picky about the buyers because I spend a lot of time with them and I want them to have fun buying a home. And you know, I want to be able to relate to them and I want them to trust me in that sales process. And people do trust me and I'm really grateful for that. But if you're selling a home, I've been doing this for 15 years. Chances are your neighbors have already used me to sell their home. They love me because I set price records, and I set price records because I do things differently. And buyers love me because number one, I'm fun and I teach them things along the way. As an investor, you know, I can teach them, once they get into this home, I can teach them tips and tricks to turning this home into a rental down the road instead of selling it and then just buying another house. And pretty much for buyers and new buyers, I like to help them grow a legacy of wealth, right? So that is important to me. So it's Friday. If you're having a great weekend, good for you. But my week is just starting. And then I'm taking Monday through Thursday off. So I'm just telling you this because I do more than just sit in my office and play video games. I promise you I do. And I really appreciate you. I appreciate all the referrals that you're giving me. A portion of every dollar that I make goes back to support youth in athletics and music. And also I support a women's shelter. So doing business with me also helps the community. I appreciate you. Just wanted to let you know that. Have a great weekend.